Hi and welcome back to 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧𝗏, and today guys we are taking another look at 𝗕𝗠d and the EGLD token. In this video we're going to give you our 5 reasons why we think EGLD is worth investing, and both myself and Chris have invested in EGLD recently. We are getting fantastic staking rewards and all that kind of good stuff from the project, and we kind of want to give you our kind of top 5 reasons as to why we think this is worthy of an investment. So as always, if you find this useful and informative, do go ahead and smash that like button. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe. By being a subscriber here, you will be kept up to date with all of the videos and live streams that we do here at 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧𝗏. Chris, anything you want to add before we dive straight on into these 5 reasons?
No, I'm really starting to love this project, like, more and more. Like, I'm big on VeChain, I'm big on ADA, big on XRP, XLM, and all of the other ones. But this one, I don't know. It was recommended to us, and I've bought right into it.
Absolutely, it's a fantastic project. So let's get on into reason number 1. So our first reason, guys, is all about the 𝗕𝗠d team. Now, like always, when we first evaluate a project, we always like to dig into the team and find out what's going on there. Are they a strong, well-knit team, and are they able to push this thing further forward? And it's usually one of the starting points, isn't it, Chris? We try not to overlook the teams, and it's fantastic to see such a diverse team here for 𝗕𝗠d.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's the first thing we look at, isn't it, Nick?
It really is. It's very important that you take the time to dive into what's going on for the team members, making sure that you cross your T's and dot your I's and all that kind of stuff, because ultimately these are the guys who are going to be responsible for driving the project forward, development and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's important that these guys, they're transparent in who they are and where they've worked, which is fantastic to see here. We obviously have their Twitter feeds, we have their LinkedIn profiles, so it's really good to see there's a diverse group of individuals here from various different backgrounds, some very good technical people here as well, and these guys are really well-knit team as I can see it. They obviously have advisors as well, so you can see all of the advisors here, and their website does a very good job at kind of making all this stuff really transparent. And as a part of that is obviously LinkedIn profiles, so you can get directly linked into their LinkedIn. But you basically, you can go ahead and do some research on these guys via LinkedIn as well. So you can read a little bit about them. You can obviously go through their history here. So obviously currently the founder and CEO. Previously was the co-founder and CEO of MetaChain Capital, and before that business lead at 𝗕𝗚𝗪.io foundation. You can see their education, you can see their certificates, you can see all of this kind of stuff as well, recommendations. It's basically a really good way to kind of get to know these individuals, and can you build trust with them in order to push the project further forward and build those relationships, build those partnerships, etc. And for 𝗕𝗠d, the team is very, very good. We didn't come across any issues when we did our research for 𝗕𝗠d. Anything you want to add to team at this point, Chris?
No, nothing on the team. No, not at this stage.
Fantastic. So the second point, guys, reason number 2, is all about the developer-friendly approach that 𝗕𝗠d has taken. So they have a virtual machine, the 𝗕𝗠𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏, I don't know, the WASM VM, if you will. And basically this means that developers can develop in almost any language, is basically the gist of it. So in a similar way, you see Cardano, for example, opening up the developer pool to all developers rather than just a select few. 𝗕𝗠d are doing the same thing, or have done the same thing, I should say. So the 𝗕𝗠𝗪 VM, which I think is due to come out in 2021 and be launched out of testnet into mainnet, basically, it allows us to, create, basically, use, I guess, and execute smart contracts written in any programming language that can be compiled to the WASM bytecode, and this includes C, C++, Rust, Go, TypeScript, and many others, right? It's a language rich environment. And it's really important that you start seeing this crop up as we move further forward with some of these projects. And I'm just so impressed that Elrond has this here, and it's fantastic just how developer friendly this particular platform is, in the same way that Cardano aims to be so as well. So Chris, anything you want to add at this point for developers and the usability of all of these smart contracts?
No, I think you've summed it up really well, Nick, to be honest. I use my favourite word, no.
Fantastic. So moving on from here, the next main point that we kind of want to reiterate here with Elrond is all about their adaptive state sharding. So reason number 3 is scalability, right? And scalability for Elrond is basically achieved through adaptive state sharding. So sharding was first used in databases as a method for distributing data across multiple machines. This makes it a scaling technique, right? And it can be used by blockchain networks to partition states and transactions processing, so that each node of the network would only need to process a fraction of all the transactions. So sharding allows for parallel processing of transactions in essence, right? So you can have multiple, shards, and I think most people are familiar with sharding, but for those who are not, basically think of it as parallel chains, and they're all processing transactions in unison. So as long as there is sufficient number of nodes verifying each transaction, ensuring high reliability and security, then splitting a blockchain into shards will allow it to process far more transactions by means of parallelization, and thus greatly improving the transaction throughput more efficiently. Moreover, sharding promises to increase the throughput of a network as it expands in the number of validators grows. And so the more validators, ultimately, the more shards, the more you can scale a blockchain. Properly called, I guess, horizontal scaling, as they call it here. So I'm not going to go into all of this, but this is a fantastic understanding of or description. And you can go through this, visit. We do recommend you do your own research. Check out the Elrond website. They go through all of this stuff within their documentation, and it is absolutely a fantastic read. So you can get an idea of literally how this is going to be working, how it works, how it scales, and all those shards. And I think there's some crazy numbers in terms of transactions per second when you start using this adaptive state sharding. The scalability of this blockchain is absolutely ridiculous. It's off the charts. Fantastic. So that really is our third reason, and one of the main things to really kind of hit home with in terms of scalability and all that kind of jazz. So then, Chris, unless there's anything you want to add to sharding, we should probably talk about one of your favorite subjects.
What's that? Football?
Number 4, we're going to be talking about... I thought I was going to just throw you off there, but number 4, guys, is all about staking. Chris's favorite thing is staking. Now, I should have been more prepared, but unfortunately I am not. But I'm going to bring this up here and just to give you a bit of an idea of what Elrond pricing is. But ultimately, you can stake at EGLD, right? And you get a fantastic rate on it, don't you, Chris?
You do. You get 29%. I'm going to say that again, just in case you didn't catch that correctly. 29% APY, which is phenomenal, right? So basically, you need to have a minimum of 10 EGLD tokens to be able to stake. They're, I think, about 38
$38 exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I've got on the screen behind you. Not that you can see that, but it's $38.63 currently as at the point of recording this video. And as Chris was saying, you need a minimum of 10 in order to start staking, but you do get that massive 29% APY, which is absolutely fantastic. So go for it, Chris.
Well, I was going to say, so one thing to add, so it's slightly different to most staking pools that I've used in the past, in the regard that you kind of, first of all, go into a bit of a waiting room for I think it's 10 days, and it's at a reduced rate, right? But it's still 19.9% 0.9% APY for those 10 days. Then you go into the main pool and you get your 29%, which is just phenomenal, right? You know, but you are talking what, a $400 investment roughly, because you probably want more than 10, you know, for fees for moving it and that sort of jazz, right? From moving it from whatever marketplace you purchase it from. So, you know, with that said, you know, it's probably a minimum of £400 for $400 investment, you know, to get started. That's kind of the minimum that I would choose to do. I mean, there's nothing wrong with just holding it and not staking it, but to not stake when you're going to be offered 29% is criminal in my view. You got to make your money work for you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So, you know, staking is a fantastic concept that I think many are familiar with now. For the newcomers, I think Elrond do it quite easily. If you just go to wallet.elrond.com, it kind of walk you through exactly what you need to do to delegate it and stuff like that. Minimum is 10, and that's you know, specific to Elrond. That isn't the case for other tokens, but Elrond, I think, you know, I think staking is absolutely worth it, and that's why it made it into number 4 ultimately. You know, it's one of those really great, fantastic things that you're going to get if you hold EGLD. So then, Chris, I guess moving from staking, we go ahead and talk to our 5th point, right? Our 5th point is all about price. So obviously I have the price chart up here behind me from crypto.com. We can see obviously when I loaded this web page, I'll just give it a quick refresh, see what it pops up at. $39.08 currently, right? So this thing has had a 14% increase today in the last 24 hours, which is, you know, really good to see as well. Now, the main, I guess, reasoning behind the price for us and why we called this out as the 5th reason is the maximum supply, right? Now, depending on what resource you go to, it gives you a different number, right? So this is the worst case I've seen the maximum supply being. So I think there's a data feed issue somewhere, but crypto.com I would think would be, you know, a pretty decent source for the maximum supply. This shows it at 31.42 million tokens, right? So only a mere 10 million more than, you know, Bitcoin, right? So straight away we know we're in that kind of realm of things when it comes to EGLD. The main differences though is that you know, EGLD actually has a pretty decent scalable blockchain technology behind it, whereas Bitcoin, being the first, unfortunately is relatively slow, has some issues in terms of that kind of stuff, but is a great store of value. But when you start comparing Elrond to Bitcoin in terms of the sheer number of tokens, this thing is going to be super valuable when those tokens get mined, right? So currently we have a circulating supply of 16.6 million, and yet the maximum is 31, at least according to this. We have obviously heard that it's 21 million, same as Bitcoin in other places. But I've just gone with this one because it's the highest number. So therefore the worst case price-wise. This thing has huge potential to really go up in value over the years. I've seen people do, you know, other analysts out there talking about Elrond potentially going up to $500 in 2021, which I would not mind that at all. So I think it's going to be incredibly interesting to hold this token over the years. You know, I personally will quite happily hold Elrond and EGLD for 5, maybe even 10 years to see how this thing matures. So pricing is interesting. I'm also going to load up this, which is the Elrond chart to USD. Okay, so EGLD to USD. We can obviously see lots of price movement recently, and it was only really in November this thing was about $10 or so, and really has started gearing up. I put a fib retrace on here so we can see the kind of momentum that this thing is getting, and it's been doing incredibly well with lots of consolidation around $21 and really started to take off from there. We have some price targets that go with this in the short term, Chris, and these are $42 to start with, moving up to $62, and then we're hitting $83 and $96 at the top end. Now, that is not the limit to how far this thing can go. It can go a lot further than that. Like I said, people are talking about $500 in 2021, but looking at the technicals just in this short period of time, these are the price targets that are in the very near future possible for EGLD. So really one to watch out for, guys. I think this thing is going to seriously catch a lot of people off guard. It has a low supply, it has great technology, and I think it's going to be an absolute stormer for 2021. Chris, anything you want to add as like a conclusion to these 5 reasons to get involved with Elrond?
So just a couple of things. So the first thing, there are some mistakes on the website. It doesn't put me off. I just think it's maybe, I don't know, just a bit of a lack of perhaps going back, because this was a previous token that's shifted over to EGLD. So I kind of feel like the fact that they've got Coinbase listed as a place you can purchase the token, yeah, I kind of feel like that's probably old and they've just forgot to remove it. And there was something else, but I can't remember what it was. But they're not really things that put me off. But you know, we are promoting like the project in a way and giving our opinion on it. I think it's only right that we say and highlight the things that perhaps we weren't happy with when we were looking at it. But you know, with that said, you know, fantastic project. I kind of feel like, you know, if we go worst case scenario with the higher number of 31 maximum supply, you know, you look at the price of Bitcoin currently, you look at the price of this particular project and the fact that I believe that it's a better blockchain. It's more than just, you know, I don't know, a store of value. There's a use to it. When you consider, and I'm going to say the phrase that the Bitcoin sort of fanboys use, I don't know if that's the right terminology, whatever they call themselves, maximalists and all this sort of stuff I see on Twitter. But I'm going to use the line that they use. When the 7.8 billion people in the world realize there's only 21 or 31 million tokens, what do you think is going to happen to the price?
Exactly.
And I'll leave it there.
Absolutely. So guys, as always, if you found this video useful and informative, do go ahead and smash that like button. Chris really appreciates it. I really appreciate it. And I like to think that all of you really appreciate it too. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe. By being a subscriber, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all that said, I hope you have a fantastic day and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Yeah, take care.